I think just looking at, okay, we don't know what the future is going to hold, but what can we do right now and what makes the most sense to do next? And we just kind of try things and pay attention to the metrics and see what people are responding to and what they're not, and just make the next right decision based off of what we know right now and just keep moving forward.
Okay, everybody, we've been talking about recovery for a while now, and my team at Relic has been working on recovery campaigns for several destinations over the last couple of months. They've actually developed a pretty amazing, we'll call it an algorithm, to know when it's safe to do acquisition marketing in a market. And so what I mean by that is you've got government regulations, you've got, how is the virus affecting that market, whether there's been a decrease in cases or a decrease in deaths in that market. When is it safe to advertise, hey, come to our destination? Like I said, our team has come up with this algorithm to provide that information for you, and we're offering a free market report. We're calling it Recovery Triggers. And if you'd like a free Recovery Trigger report for your target market where you want to draw visitors from, please email me directly at adam@relicagency.com. Or you can go to recoverytriggers.relicagency.com and we'll get you set up with a free report, and we even have the ability to send you a weekly recurring report so you can see what's happening in that market on a weekly basis and make sure you're launching your acquisition campaign at the perfect time. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Stoker. I'm excited to be with you today. We've got a great show for you today. I've reached out to someone that I haven't interacted with before, and she agreed to be on the show, and we really appreciate it. Her name is Kelli Steele, and she is the Executive Director of the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And Kelli, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Adam. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you, and you're all the way across the country from us in West Virginia, and I'm excited to hear how you're navigating the tourism challenges of today. So we appreciate you joining us, and it'll be a fun conversation today.
Thank you.
Well, if you've listened to the show, you know that we have a couple of icebreaker questions we like to ask at the very beginning, and you're going to be no different. We really want to know, if you could go anywhere in the world, Kelli, where would it be?
There are so many places I still want to travel. So high on my list are the Rocky Mountains and the Pacific Northwest. I have been out west some, but I have not seen those things. So I'm super, super excited to get out west a little more and explore the other half of the country. And then I'd also love to go to Europe, but I have to admit that most of my travel dreams include food, and so I just want to go and eat all the pastries and pasta. I mean, I'd like to see the sights too, but food is a big is a big thing for me. And so when I think of Europe, I think, of some beautiful scenery and then all of the food.
Oh, that's great. And I'm going to go back to your Rocky Mountain desire there, because I might be biased a little bit being in Utah, but I could help you plan a pretty amazing trip to the Rocky Mountains. So we'll have to collaborate on that one.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, tell me a little bit about your desire for the Pacific Northwest. What is the draw? I obviously understand the Rocky Mountain draw. What's the draw or appeal of the Pacific Northwest that kind of calls to you?
I think I love, the evergreen forests. It's West Virginia is beautiful and green, and we have these amazing mountains, but it's mostly deciduous. And I really enjoy being outdoors and kind of exploring all the plant life. It's a little nerdy, but true. And so I think anytime I see photographs of hikes or landscapes in the Pacific Northwest, I just think I would love to get my feet out there.
Oh man, yeah. The outdoor aspect of the Pacific Northwest is unbelievable. I've driven through parts of Washington and Oregon, and as I drove through, I'm thinking this is some of the most. This should be my destination, not my pass through here as I'm going through it, because it really is just beautiful.
Yes, I agree.
Great. Okay, and Europe, it's mostly the food, but you might see some sights along the way.
Yes, correct.
Any sites in particular that would distract you from the food for a short period of time?
Oh my goodness. I mean, there are not specific, cliffs in Ireland and pools in Iceland and I don't know. I mean, I have not been to Europe, so I just kind of want to see it all. Cities, there are plenty of cities I'd love to visit: Geneva, Switzerland, and oh my goodness, Greece. Greece is not a city. I am aware it's a country, but but I would. There's just so much about the architecture and the history and the culture that I would love to experience. So
Okay.
someday I'll get
Yeah.
there.
Sounds like you're a little bit of a Europe generalist that you'd like to just see it all. You want to take it all in. You're not going on one specific type of trip. You want to see it all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for my first trip, I need to get an overview before I go, really drill down and get into the specifics. So I would be like your quintessential tourist
Yeah.
and just kind of see as much as I could the first time or two, and then I'd love to go back and really find some, specific places that I could spend a little bit more time in.
Well, the good news is to see all the places that you mentioned, you're only going to need like a 3-month sabbatical to do it. So should be easy to find the time to get out there and see all that.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Well, Kelly, thank you for sharing that. What about your favorite place you've ever actually visited? Your favorite trip you've ever taken?
Yeah, my favorite place I've been is Santa Fe, New Mexico.
You're
I
not the first to say Santa Fe. Santa Fe has some real appeal. I'd love to hear about your trip.
It does. I was out there just for, I think, 4 or 5 days. It has a really strong sense of place, which is always really attractive to me when I visit somewhere. It's great when you can go somewhere and know exactly where you are and not feel like it could be any other town. And the landscape is so different from here. There's mountains, and I love mountains, and so I love that there's some interesting topography, but the actual vegetation and the shape of the land is so different from what we have here in West Virginia and all along the East Coast, and I love that. And I love that there's so much culture and the food. Of course, food is a recurring theme with me, but all of the spices and the chilies and just the Southwest culture and the food there was so great. And I also love the art in Santa Fe. I walked on Canyon Road and spent an entire day just going in and out of all of the art galleries, finding artists that I love, following them on Instagram. I mean, that was like my best day ever. It was just walking into art galleries all day. So I think it just kind of hit all of my favorite things: art, food, outdoors. I loved it so much.
Oh, Santa Fe sounds amazing. And they're a pretty unique destination in that they don't really fit very tightly into the rest of New Mexico as far as New Mexico's brand goes.
Hmm.
And they really have a lot of uniqueness to them, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Was there anything that you saw when you were there that you said, I'm going to go incorporate this into my destination? I'm going to take something from what they're doing and use it to improve what I'm doing in Putnam County?
I did not, because when I visited there, I had not yet started working in tourism. So there are things that I think back about, now that I'm in the industry, and I think about places I've traveled to and things that appealed to me and what I liked and didn't like. But when I was there, since I wasn't in the industry, I wasn't really thinking so much about it from a marketing perspective.
Isn't that so funny how being in the industry changes the way the way we travel, the way we look at our trips? I mean, I feel like I've kind of ruined travel a little bit for me because it always turns into kind of a research
Uh huh.
activity,
Uh
you
huh.
know. But man, it sure is a fun industry to be in.
It sure is. I would not. I love it so much, and I'm very thankful to be working here now.
Well, tell me how you ended up here. I mean, you when you went to Santa Fe, you weren't yet in the industry. Tell me how you ended up getting into the tourism industry and a little bit of your background before that.
Sure. I got my bachelor's degree from Marshall University, which is a college here in West Virginia, in advertising, and I had a minor in marketing. And so my first about 4 years out of college, I worked in a small PR firm and then in a marketing department for an industrial company. And after that, I was a little restless, and I began freelancing as a graphic designer and then later as a photographer. And I built a small business working as like a one woman marketing department for really small businesses and nonprofit organizations that might not have the budget for like a full service agency. And I did that for 12 years. I worked from
Wow.
home. Yeah, worked from home, had two kids. And so I was able to work from home while my children were young, which was great. But after 12 years, I didn't really want to grow my business at that time into anything larger. And so I was getting a little restless. Like I felt like I had kind of done all I could do in that position. And so I heard about the job at the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau, where I am now. I had kind of been watching for career opportunities, and this aligned perfectly with my resume and my experience. And so if you kind of took all of the marketing skills that I'd developed over the years and combined those with the skills I had running my business, accounting and just administrative stuff, it was exactly the kind of job I was looking for. And so I had no experience in tourism and very naively thought that it couldn't be all that much different from marketing, nonprofits or healthcare or the beauty industry, which is what most of my clients were in. And so I learned within about a month that I really had a whole lot to learn about destination marketing. And so looking back, it's kind of funny because the things that I was nervous about when I took the job, like managing a staff or managing a budget that was larger than my business, those things were actually really easily transferable to the job I have now. But the thing that was the most challenging was learning the industry. I mean, it did not take me long to, realize I don't have it all figured out, and I needed some resources. So I read and listened to everything I could. I made contacts with peers in the industry here. And then I attended Southeast Tourism Society's Marketing College to get my TMP certification. And that was incredibly helpful. And so through all that, I actually fell in love with the tourism industry and hope to have a long career in the industry. I love it very much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, there's a lot to unpack in your background because you started with PR, you
Mm-hmm.
did graphic design, you did marketing. You have kind of a general marketing skill set that
Mm-hmm.
allows you to kind of look holistically at everything your destination is doing. Would you say that's an accurate description of your background and abilities?
For sure. I have a little bit of agency experience, which was invaluable, especially right out of college. And then, all of those skills that I developed over the year in design and photography and even marketing strategy. We're a very small destination, and those I use those skills on a daily, if not daily, weekly basis for sure. I don't do all of the creative work here, but I'm able to step in times when we're on a tight deadline or we're in a budget crunch, like right now when every destination is sort of facing these budget challenges. I can really kind of step in and take over, or not even take over, but take the lead on some things that other people may not be able to. And because we're so small, I don't know. It feels like I was made to be here for now.
That's great. And your role at Putnam County that we've been describing, you're the executive director of Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So what does that entail for you? What does that role mean to you?
I'm laughing because I mean it means ultimately I'm the one responsible for marketing tourism in Putnam County as a destination. But if you looked at my schedule on any given week, I mean, who knows what I might be doing? I might design an ad. I might be taking photos or videos of an attraction. I'll be attending board meetings for local nonprofits or meeting with our staff to go over goals and projects or make updates to the website or respond to questions on social media. I mean, it's just whatever needs done in the organization, then we're just going to pull together and do it because there aren't many of us here. It's me, and then I have a part-time office manager and a woman who has worked here for a long time. She actually used to be the director before me, and she still does some social media management and provides planning support when we have big projects. And so she works from home, and that's been immensely helpful. But I mean, we're very tiny and we have to just kind of pull together and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
That's got to be nice to have somebody that has been in your role before that's still in the organization that you can kind of bounce things off of and kind of make sure that you're like, if you encounter a problem that you're not sure if you're navigating it correctly, that you can bounce it off of her. Has that been helpful to you?
It was especially, I mean, it's still helpful. It was incredibly helpful that first year or so when I would just be confused or need some perspective about, dynamics maybe in the community or with, even decisions that she made. Just having her to understand kind of where the organization had been and where she was leading it before I got here was so helpful. And even now, the institutional knowledge that she has, even though she purposefully stepped back in her role, um, she just knows so much. So there's a lot that I don't have to explain to her. That if we needed to hire someone new for her role, then that would take so much training and time just to get them kind of up to speed with all of the things she knows about the area and the organization. So it's been great.
Yeah, what a great resource to have.
I'm very thankful.
Well, obviously we're going through a unique time here, and you need all the help you can get from a historical perspective and from her experience. But walk me through a little bit about just kind of the life cycle of this COVID-19 crisis for you in Putnam County, and the mental and emotional process you've gone through over the last 4 or 5 months.
Sure. I think if you're familiar with the stages of grief, I feel like that maps pretty well with what a lot of us in the industry are experiencing. I mean, I was thinking about this today. In the first probably month, I was in a lot of denial. Like it's not going to last forever. We'll be back to normal in a couple months. Everything's going to be fine. And here we are, several months later, and it's clear that things are not yet back to normal and don't look like they'll be normal anytime soon. And things are not quite fine yet. They're just different. And yeah, so I think, initially we spent a lot of time providing information to locals, what restaurants were open, what stores were offering online shopping, ways that they could stay safe and still support local businesses. And we still do some of that. And then once it became obvious that this wasn't going to be short term, or, you know, things weren't going to just return to normal right away, I wrote an amended marketing plan. Um, so one of the most beneficial things for all of this was I have a group of friends that work in destinations to the east and west of me, in the Huntington, Charleston, and Barbersville CBBs here.
Okay.
And we have a group text and we literally talk every day. And in the beginning of COVID, we would do weekly Zoom meetings where we would just, check in with one another, but also talk about what are you all doing that works? What are you doing that's not working? What can we do together? And that has been incredibly helpful for my sort of mental well-being as it relates to work, because I have these supportive, kind friends who we check in on each other every day. And it's so helpful just to know you're not in it alone, frankly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you guys have a group text going on, and that you're touching base every day. Can you tell me maybe a couple of things that have come out of that text string that has specifically helped you? Maybe a piece of advice that you've gotten from one of these peers that you're working with, or even even if it's just the emotional support, right, of somebody that's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Tell me kind of the biggest benefits you've experienced of having that support group.
Sure. From a personal perspective, like we make each other laugh a lot. So we all love The Office, and we share a lot of Office memes, or just silly stuff. Like knowing that we can just. I mean, we've actually become quite close friends, and so it's not
So the text
all.
string is a little inappropriate then. I'm sure we can assume that at this point.
Maybe slightly, yes, but also good for a lot of laughs. They make me laugh every day. But also, even everything from like tips to whenever I first did, as an example, I did a chart on our website, which is still up, about what restaurants are offering, dine in, delivery, outdoor dining, carry out, and I did this
Yes.
huge chart and I found some software that was just especially helpful. And so sharing like, hey guys, I made this chart. If you like it, here's the software I used, and so we'll
Ooh, what's
share
the software?
Bisme, Visme. Um,
Bisme. Okay, we'll
v.
post that in the
hmm
Destination Marketers LinkedIn group, and also on
Yeah,
the Destination Marketers Slack channel. So
yeah,
we'll get that
it's
updated.
awesome. It's similar to Canva, but the focus is more on infographics. So I
Okay.
loved that. And then another thing that we did was talk about, okay, what can we do together? We all know that travelers don't care about county lines or city lines, and so
Right.
we work together on this Instagram account that we created called the WV Metro Valley. Kind of that's our tourism region name is the Metro Valley here in West Virginia. And so there's an old road that runs kind of through all of our communities called Route 60. And so we called it the Route 60 Ramble because we wanted people to be encouraged to like get out and explore their backyards a little bit. But we like alliteration, of course, but also the idea of a ramble is like this sort of meandering walk or a meandering journey, and we just wanted people to learn about things they might not know was in their backyard, and that focuses on outdoor recreation. So far that's what we focused on, but also we have plans in this month and the following month to focus on public art and some historic and cultural sites that might not be as well known in the region, just to encourage people to get out and do things that feel safer and that are safer, but also maybe that they haven't done or seen before. And so that's been a really fun project that's kind of come out of our group text,
Yeah.
is working
I,
on that.
I love the collaboration of the joint Instagram account because, there's a lot of people that say collaboration is a buzzword, but might not be willing to commit to actually working together. And
Mm-hmm.
you guys are doing a joint Instagram account that promotes the entire Metro Valley. Uh, Tell me how visitors and potential visitors have engaged with that content. Have you seen an improvement in the reception of that content as a result of working together?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people, so like if someone's in Huntington, we've seen a lot of people commenting, like, I had no idea this was in Charleston, or I had no idea this was in Hurricane, which is a little town in Putnam County here, and vice versa, that they're, I mean, I'm right in between the two cities. It's only 30 minutes to either. So we're not talking about a big area here. And there's so much right in our own backyard that people just aren't aware of. So hiking trails, biking trails, water, public access to lakes and rivers. And then the art, we haven't even gotten to the art yet, but there's just so much here. And I think, it's really easy to get focused on our own destination and forget about our neighbors. But it only makes sense when I travel. I certainly don't look or pay any attention to where something is, except like, is this a distance I'm willing to travel in a day
Yeah.
and to visit something? And so it only made sense for us to work together on this project. And I
Oh, I
think the
love it.
biggest, yeah, the biggest benefit is just, I mean, right now, we get a lot of people locally commenting because we don't have, people aren't traveling quite as much just yet. But it's been really gratifying to see people discovering things right here, close to home that they can go and do.
Yeah, even your locals are taking advantage of that resource. That's great.
Correct. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, you mentioned earlier that one of the first things that you did was amend your marketing plan. Can you tell me a little bit
hmm
more about what you did there and what the process was for doing that?
Sure. I wrote a short term, amendment kind of at the beginning of April when I realized, all right, this is going to have some long impacts, and we kind of paused a lot of our ongoing marketing, as most people did, and then took a look at what are people wanting to do when people start traveling again, and outdoor recreation came to the forefront. We have a lot of that in West Virginia, and we have some resources that have been under development here in Putnam County locally, but not a lot of people knew about them yet. And it really pushed me to go out and get better photos and videos of those assets, because a lot of our focus before has been on families with children and events around event marketing. And, you know, events are canceled for the foreseeable
Yeah.
future. And a lot of our attractions that were appealing to families with young children are also closed, at least for the summer. And so it was really like, what do we have that is, that we can feel good about marketing, that people can feel safe coming out and doing. And so it was really a shift in content more than anything. And then we've also shifted, more to digital and being really specific in that targeting. I mean, I was already doing like digital display ads and occasional retargeting, but I'm doing this sort of combined effort of like some social media, some display ads, and retargeting ads that are really specific to a drive market about 4 hours or less to here, and it's really focusing on that outdoor adventure component to let people know that we have things here that weren't they've been here a little while. Some of them are new. We have a whole new mountain biking and hiking trail system that's brand new, and we have a really nice water access point on our river here that's been new just for a year. And so it's great to really get the word out about those things now.
Yeah, what a smart thing that you did, and I want to go back to kind of the process you went through, because I think that's exactly how every destination needs to look at it. Is first you said, okay, what are the people that are willing to come here going to want? Well, events are gone, right? So
Yep.
so now outdoor recreation is going to be the most appealing asset that we have. But you know what? We don't have enough content around those outdoor recreational assets. So the first thing that you do is go out and gather those assets, get the photography you need, the video
Mm-hmm.
assets that you need, and then promote those to the target persona that's most likely to visit. And then focus your efforts around that. I just feel like, as far as a framework goes of how to adjust in a time like this when everything changes, like COVID, everything has changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
From who we're targeting, to the assets that are most appealing to them, to the length of trip, the distance they're willing to drive. All of those things have changed, and it sounds like for you immediately recognized that and went and started gathering the content needed to promote the assets that had come to the forefront compared to where they had been before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, if you're listening, do that. I really like that process that you went through. Anything else in how you decided to attack or approach the crisis that you feel like would benefit our listeners?
I think it's really easy when something this drastic happens, and we're facing, it's easy to feel scared. I mean, I'm scared, what's our budget going to look like long term, and when, and how are our sort of long-standing attractions going to be able to return to normal operation? And it's super easy to kind of just clam up and be like, I don't know what to do. And so I don't know. I think maybe part of it is like this sort of Appalachian heritage that we have here in West Virginia, because West Virginians don't ever sort of we're super resourceful, and we just do what needs to be done. And I think just looking at, okay, well, we don't know what the future is going to hold, but what can we do right now, and what makes the most sense to do next, and what can we do? Some things might not work. I might try things that fall completely flat, and that's okay. Like, I don't want to be foolish in my decision making, but nobody knows. There's no playbook for how to market during a pandemic. And so nobody knows what best practices are or what's going to be super effective or not. And so we just kind of try things and pay attention to the metrics and see what people are responding to and what they're not, and just make the next right decision based off of what we know right now, and just keep moving forward little by little.
Yeah, I love that. What's the worst that could happen? Well, it already happened. So if there's ever a time for trial and error, it's now.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, tell me, you mentioned BizMe is the software that you're using for showing what restaurants are open and how they're open and what visitors can expect. Is there any other technology that you found that has benefited you kind of in your road to recovery?
Well, I mean, I bought a GoPro and I strap it on and I go walk our trails
Great.
and take videos. I mean, it's I'm sure there are a lot. more fancy answers that bigger destinations could give, but I think there is no shame in just like strapping on a camera and going and taking. I mean, even like some of our trails are a little bit hard to find, and so I put the GoPro on my dashboard and I did a time lapse. I haven't even posted them to our website yet, but I recorded time lapses of like where to find the trailheads when you enter our parks, in case that's not clear. And so we'll be putting those up on the website just to make things more accessible and easier to find for people. So it doesn't have to be complicated or, planned out for months in advance. Like just think about your destination as someone who's never been there before, and where are there not good signs, and what can we do as DMOs to really point people in the right direction, figuratively and literally. And so, yeah, I think we can't underestimate just information. So that's photos and videos and text, and just helping make it easy for people to find and get to the things that we have to offer.
Yeah, I hear so many destinations say, well, I just don't have budget right now for video. And
Mm-hmm.
the reality is, you don't need a budget to walk down a trail with a GoPro on, like you said. And then the great thing about social video that you're going to release on your social media pages is it doesn't have to be a huge professional production with effects. And I mean, you walking down the trail with the GoPro on, speed that video up so people can see what that hike is like in,
Mm-hmm.
in maybe a shorter period of time, and you got a great piece of social content there.
Yes,
It's not rocket science, and if there was ever a time to be scrappy, strap on a GoPro and go do it yourself. That time is now.
absolutely. I mean, I even attached it to my paddleboard and went out on the river, on a day that the office was closed, and just paddled around so people could see like where the water access point was, what it's like to be on a paddleboard on the river. I mean, we have this huge river, and you wouldn't think of it as something that would be friendly for paddle boats, paddle sports, but it's right just upstream of a dam, and so the water is so still there, it's almost like a lake. It's a great place to learn, and so it was just a super easy way to show people like this is not scary. I mean, I'm prone to anxiety myself, and I don't have any trouble getting out there and just paddling around. Even though it's this big river, it's a super safe and clean, easy way to get out and enjoy the water. And so, yeah, I think just like taking away some of the we overthink things sometimes, and these are not great videos at all. The lighting's not great. I mean, I know enough to know what's good and what's not, and it's not great, but it's better than nothing. Like it just shows people what's available, and it's fun. Like I was not sad to be out on my paddleboard for a couple hours in the middle of a hot day, and get to use some of that time to do something that benefits my community. I loved it.
Absolutely. Okay, and the scrappiness that you've kind of come up with, I keep coming back to this word, and that's that you're just getting out and doing it, right? How do you feel like that is going to benefit you when things get back to whatever this new normal is going to be?
Well, my hope is that we're going to have, all of this content that we've kind of pulled together over the last few months, and that I continue to, pull together, um, that we'll be able to use those in the months ahead in actual marketing campaigns. I mean, one of my favorite photos right now that we've gotten was taken on one of the trails with an iPhone. And I have thousands of dollars in photo equipment from my background in photography, and I got an iPhone photo that I think's pretty great. And so, it's just, I'm hopeful that this is going to give us sort of the content and the assets that we need to really position ourselves as a place in this Metro Valley where people want to come and spend some time outdoors. Whereas before this, I don't think anybody would have said, I want to go to Putnam County and hike or bike these trails, or I want to go to Putnam County and, put my paddleboard in the river. Like that just wasn't on in the forefront of people's minds. And so I hope we really just open people's minds to what's available here.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, what about from a recovery campaign standpoint? Have you guys started to develop your recovery campaign?
We've started with some digital advertising, all of it focusing again on the outdoor recreation, since that's what we have, ready and available for people to use. And then moving forward, I mean, one of the big things that we're kind of keeping an eye on is one of the areas that had grown in the region, and this is actually how I became friends with my group text pals, is sports marketing. Marketing on our end, but sports tournaments have become a really big tourism driver in our region. So our area in Putnam County has a newly renovated park that lets us be a direct part of that. But even before, people were staying in our hotels when these huge soccer tournaments would come, or baseball tournaments or other tournaments. And obviously that's not happening this year, but we're looking ahead and kind of working with organizations that we've reached out to before who maybe had tournaments scheduled here that had to be canceled. And we're saying, what about 2022? So really trying to think ahead about how we can work the long game to make impacts now, while other people are maybe I don't know, not planning so far ahead. I mean, we want people to come back here that had planned to come here this year, and that might not, be safe to happen in the next few months, but hopefully within 18 months, it'll be safe to travel here again in large groups, and we want those groups to come here.
Yeah. Yeah, and you touched a little bit on how your media plan has changed. How
Mm-hmm.
do you intend for it to continue to evolve over the next several months?
I do see us moving. I mean, everyone has kind of gradually moved more toward digital and away from print, which makes me sad because I love my magazine still. But I
Right.
think the immediate impact, the way that you can kind of adjust on the fly and um, make adjustments in the moment with digital that you just can't do with print. And so I see us really, at least for the short term, focusing a lot more on digital just because it gives us that control to adjust the campaign as needed. And then building some print back in as things settle down a bit. So, as far as a tactical sort of uh, just really practical thing, I think a lot of people are doing that. That's not nothing unique to me, but I think it makes a lot of sense in these times. And we're not
Sure.
completely cutting print out, but I'm just being a little more mindful of those choices.
Yeah, I mean, as budget is super tight, you slowly introduce with digital because of the ability to target and the ability to adjust quickly based on performance,
Mm-hmm.
and also to measure that performance. And then as budget starts to loosen up or open up again, you start to introduce tactics that may be a little less measurable, but can hit different audiences in a way that digital can't. I think that's a pretty great strategy for operating on a limited budget, especially as things start to slowly move into that new normal.
Yeah.
I like your plan of attack there.
Thank you. It just, I just do what makes sense. None of us, none of us know. We're all kind of guessing a little bit. I mean, we pay attention to the research and listen to what other destinations are doing and what the research is telling us, and then we just make our best guesses based off of what we're hearing. So that's all we can
Well,
do.
I'm going to ask you to make a guess. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me kind of what do you see is next for Putnam County? What does the next, I don't know, 6 months to a year look like for you guys?
I really see us, continuing to develop sort of these new strategies that we've taken on in the last couple of months. So, again, the focus on outdoor recreation and a bigger emphasis on regional cooperation. Not only do I have my friends to the east and west of me that I've mentioned, but I work with a trail that kind of runs along the river, and a lot of our outdoor recreations sites and assets are along that. And so I have two other neighboring CVBs that I work with in that direction. And so I just see a lot more regional cooperation. As budgets are tight and people are looking to spread the impact, I'm hopeful that will drive more cooperation both regionally and with our state tourism office. I mean, they've done a great job here in West Virginia of sort of leading the way and communicating about what their strategies are and giving us opportunities to come alongside them with those, and just have a greater impact with our own both dollars and voice, in messaging and some partnership opportunities that they've given us for advertising. So I see us doing more of that, working collaboratively.
Yeah.
And I also think, if anything, these last few months have taught us is that we can't know what the next 90 days or 6 months are going to look like. But, we can kind of look at what's happened and where things are going and make our best guesses.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
all I'm doing.
You control what you can control, right?
That's right. Yep.
Well, Kelli, this has been amazing. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you feel like would benefit our audience to hear?
No, there's nothing you haven't asked. I would just reiterate, one of the things I really love about this industry is how friendly and welcoming and cooperative in general people are. And I think just make friends with your neighbors. It doesn't even have to be geographic neighbors, but make contacts with your industry colleagues. We need each other now more than ever, both for support, even just to say, I know I'm facing the same things and this is really hard and you're not in this alone. I think that's invaluable, frankly, and also to share ideas and what's working, what's not working, and just ways that we can help each other. Because I think, I think those relationships really pay off in the long run, both personally and professionally for us as individuals, and also for our destinations. Because, the more people, I've realized Putnam County is tiny, super, super tiny, and my impact as one little community in a tiny state like West Virginia, even though I think it's amazing here, is not going to have the reach as it does when I work together with people locally and regionally and statewide.
Great. Yeah, don't be afraid to collaborate. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Absolutely. It's made the biggest difference, I think, in what we do here.
Awesome. Well, Kelli, this has been fun. I sure appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you so much for having me. I really had a great time talking to you today.
Same here. Well, everyone, this has been another great episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to continue to grow our listener base and grow the show. And other than that, we'll talk to you next week. Today's episode is brought to you by Relic. As many of you know, I own an advertising agency called Relic, and we work specifically with tourism destinations. If there's any of you that are struggling with what to do next, or you've tried agencies that don't specialize in tourism, or if you've been using the local flavor for years and years and you're just looking for something new, I would say give us a call. Give us the opportunity to take a look at your plans, see what you're doing. Use our tourism knowledge and industry specialty to examine everything from your brand to your tactical execution and make recommendations of how to help. We'll do that assessment for free. We'll give you those recommendations for free. And if you like what we say, maybe you can hire us to execute on those plans. So kind of a risk-free opportunity to have us take a holistic look at everything you're doing, provide some recommendations, and you can kind of see us in action. If you're interested in having us do something like that, please send me an email directly at adam@relicagency.com. I would love to set that up with my team.